the governor to arrive, and she will be signing the Memorandum of Agreement with the U.S. Treasury Department that will allow for the payment of local war claims. And she made that promise a few weeks ago, and today marks the time where that promise will come true. And she's called in a lot of her cabinet members. If you can pan over there, Jace, you can see some of them here. We got a lot of the cabinet members here to witness what they're billing as a very historic occasion when the war claims can finally be paid out. So we're waiting on the governor. She should be walking into the large conference room any moment now. So please stand by.
So once again, everybody on Facebook and YouTube, Hafuday from Adelup, where today is the very historic enactment of a very much overdue, many would say, and very much anticipated agreement. And the Guam War Claims Office will be open. We'll be putting in information throughout today's live stream. You can also get it in the caption. You can also hit the link that we provided in the caption right now. That's warclaims.guam.gov if you would like more information about filing a claim. We will have more information to you. We are awaiting the arrival of Governor Lulian Guerrero, of course. And if you have any information, the phone number, there are two numbers listed right now. If you'd like to call, the number you can call in the immediate future is 472-8931. Beginning tomorrow, there will be other phone numbers available to you, but that number is for the switchboard at Adelup, where staffers will be more than happy to help you. Nestor Lecanto is, of course, here along with our colleagues in media. A lot of the members of Governor Leon Guerrero's cabinet handpicked for their service to the island, their expertise in their various disciplines. Kind of in contrast to the way that we were maybe about a month and a half ago when it was announced that war reparations were in the processing stage and this very moment would be forthcoming.
We should point out that the processing center, which is at the old Hakubotan building, across from the Tamuning post office, won't be open until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It'll be open for business at 9 a.m. They will have a ribbon cutting ceremony, I think at about 8:30, and they expect a big crowd to show up. I think they were saying earlier that all you need, if you've got an adjudicated claim, just bring that and a valid ID, and then they can get the process going for you. And they're even encouraging those who may not have that or who have questions to come down, and they'll have an adequate, abundant staff to be able to answer those questions. So that's the old Hakubotan building across from the Tamuning post office. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is when they will officially open for business.
And also very interesting is, we're seeing a lot of members of the cabinet, as we said, a lot of GovGuam officials here in Nestor, a lot of GovGuam officials. Manamco were out in very strong. They came out in force last time because they wanted to be here for that announcement. I doesn't look like there's going to be many of our island's beloved elderly, if at all.
Yeah, I think they'll be invited tomorrow. We should
For
see,
sure.
Yeah, we'll see a very big crowd, I'm sure, of Armanamco over at the new processing center. And today, I think what we have is the cabinet members and a number of senators are also here. So.
Yeah, once again, driving up here to Adelup, the parking lot was very, very full. So there are members of, I'm seeing the Adjutant General, of course, Esther Agagi, the Adjutant General of the Guam National Guard. Several former senators. Senator Will Castro is entertaining questions right now. There are basically every single department and agency in the government of Guam has showed up today for what is expected to be certainly a historic signing. I would say one that many people feel is very, very overdue.
It's actually quite a festive mood here at the legislature. You know, we come here a lot for press conferences, and it's typically not like this. I mean, it's not filled with all of the cabinet members, but I believe they're all asked to come down just to witness the government Treasury Department, and that's adding to the kind of the festiveness of the mood right now. So, and
maybe you've covered this this storyline for a couple of years now, and the generation that is affected and the people who will file claims and have filed claims and have been very, very vocal.
Yeah.
Many of them whom are not with us anymore, but they call it Guam's greatest generation. Kind of this is my grandmother's generation. The people that went through the atrocities of World War II.
Yeah. 75 years it's been since the liberation of Guam, and they were hoping to have something by July of last year. Of course, that would be the mark that occasion, but they pushed that back a couple of times, and but now with the bill that the governor signed recently, they kind of were pushing to get it out as soon as possible, and the reason, of course, is that. And they've said this consistently that they're just concerned that as each day passes, we lose them enough, and so they wanted to get it out as quickly as possible.
Okay, so once again, if you are watching wherever in the world you're coming to us from, Hafade, Jason Salas, Nestor Lecanto with KUM Digital, and we will have information for you. It's in the caption right now, so if you want to know what numbers to call, what websites to go to, and where exactly you need to go if you are going to file and hopefully collect ultimately your claim, you can check that in the caption right now. So starting tomorrow at what used to be the Hakubotan building on the other side of the street from ITC.
Yeah, right, exactly. Cross from the Tamuning post office.
Yeah. So Governor Leon Guerrero is forthcoming. I know, everybody's pretty much standing except us at this point, except the reporters. So that means her arrival is very, very soon. So please stay with us because this is Guam history in the making right now. So thanks so much for streaming with us. We're glad you're joining us.
Chief of Staff Tony Babauta is here. He was the point man for the discussions and the MOA with the Treasury Department. He is, of course, a former Assistant Secretary of the Department of the Interior, so he kind of knows his way around Washington. I'm sure he'll be here to answer some of the questions about, the specific processing and what folks need to have on hand when they do show up at the processing center tomorrow. And I believe a big percentage of the claimants are actually off island right now.
And here's some interesting feedback, Nestor. Right now, some of our one of our top fans, actually, Tito, is saying, give love and prayers to the many survivors that have passed on already. Absolutely true. But Michelle's saying, what about the ones who have turned in their documents already and are awaiting claims? Because, of course, tomorrow's processing center, a lot of people think they're going to go there and file claims for the first time. But certainly there have been many filed to date already.
I believe if you have a copy of the letter of your adjudicated claim, then that's what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So you need that and your driver, proof of identification.
Mm-hmm. Some sort. So passport, assumedly, Guam ID.
For those, and they're not discouraging you from coming down. If you've got these sorts of questions, also come down tomorrow. They'll be there to answer it more specifically.
And I know probably you're going to be there first thing in the morning because, speaking about history, okay.
Yeah, we'll be there, I'm sure, for the ribbon cutting tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay. Michael Vargas has a very, very poignant comment right now saying, justice, and that is the key word for the victims of war. Certainly that is a sentiment that's going to be echoed here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I imagine it'll be pretty emotional for the governor and for the speaker and for others who have been really pushing for this. So We'll see. We expect her to be walking in any moment now. She's a few minutes late, but the conference room is packed with her cabinet members and with lawmakers. So,
well, you might be able to hear the theme in the back. That is the official theme for many statesmen. They played the same thing, when Michael St. Nicholas gave his historic address, about a month ago. So usually that signals the arrival of a head of state. So we're assuming the governor is just walking down. She's right over there at her office. So yeah, just keep those comments in. We're going to throw the information in for you. Let me actually do that right now. So if you guys want to know anything about hours of operation, exactly where you need to go, I know Michelle was actually just asking, do they actually need to be physically present at the Hakubotan building? You want to go to that website. It is warclaims.guam.gov. I put that in earlier in the comments. Let me throw that in once more so Michelle and everybody else curious can...
And the governor's office will be putting out a PSA with as much of that information as possible, trying to answer folks' questions. And that'll be released to us, I'm sure, pretty soon.
Right.
So we will also be sharing that information.
Okay, so I just put the website in there. As I understand it, the website had a little bit of server issues this morning. As you would assume, there are a lot of people trying to hit that website. So go there now. I understand the host has resolved those the bandwidth issues or the capacity, whatever they were dealing with. And here, I'm going to throw in one more comment. We're going to show you guys basically the hours of operation. Again, tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. The number you want to call. Okay. Let me throw that 472 number in there for you guys. See, multitasking. Okay.
And Joe, if you can spin it over, you can see the cabinet members.
Yeah, we got a full house here today. Okay, you're very welcome, Michelle. So that number 472-8931 is the number you want to call. That is the Adeloop switchboard, Nestor, where they actually have operators standing by because the 482 number is not operational yet. That will be the number once the war claims.
That will be the number once the office opens up. But yeah, that is the main trunk line, if you will, of the governor's office here at Adeloop.
So the word uttered before was justice. Brian Adam Leon Guerrero Santos. Thank you for this comment, Brian, saying finally some type of closure. Our grandfathers and grandmothers, along with our Sainas, can have peace of mind. Very, very smart. Very good comment. So let's go ahead and all take our seats as our beloved Magahaga, Governor Lulian Guerrero, is about to take the podium.
Momentarily, if we can have everyone take their seats.
Good to see you, Mike.
To the members of our Guerrero administration, we can take our seats.
I've been traveling these 4 months. Can I put more on?
Please rise for our Honorable Magahaga, Lulian Guerrero. Tagawahan Guam, Lieutenant Governor Josh Sonoy, and our speaker, Tina Rosemary Barnes. If we can have the senators stand alongside the podium.
Please be seated. Good morning and welcome to the Office of the Governor for an excellent day. After quite a long journey and with great cooperation and partnership with members of the legislature that are standing with us today, we have a very, very momentous occasion. And so I'd just like to, at this point, quite frankly, I'd like to introduce our leader, the Magahaga of Guam, Luliang Guerrero.
Thank you, Josh. Great day for our people of Guam, for our Manamku. Signing of this memorandum of agreement is going to clear the pathway so we can really truly go on now with our process to pay our Manamku. And I know that I had set a real aggressive deadline, and I thank my cabinet members and my team for making us able to meet that deadline. And my deadline still is that the first check will be given out on January 31st, and I know that we can meet that deadline. And so with the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement, like I said, it clears the pathway. I just also wanted to emphasize that the effort to make this local program happen wouldn't have happened without the bipartisan effort and support of our legislators. I want to especially recognize Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, who's been very persistent and very diligent in making sure that she provides the policy and the guideline for this claims processing. And she, along with Senator Amanda Shelton and Senator Will Castro, were the first three authors of the piece of legislation that was passed, Bill 181, which is now, I think, Bill 263 Okay, thank you. There's just so many numbers going through my mind. But I wanted to especially thank them for their commitment, and of course all the other legislators that fought really hard to make this piece of legislation finer, refined it, made the amendments, and moved it forward. And I thank all of you for your support in making it happen, and please know that the Manamkus are going to be very grateful for it. I also want to recognize our past delegates who started off from the very beginning in making sure that our people are compensated for the sacrifices that they've made. I especially want to recognize past Congressman Delegate Antonio B. Wampa, who was our first delegate and who started really the journey that is going to be realized today. I also want to thank Congressman Delegate Ben Bloss, Congressman Delegate Robert Underwood, and these are our past delegates, and of course our only female Congresswoman Delegate Madeline Brdg. These people paved the road, and they made our journey a lot easier so that we can get to where we are today. Second, I just want to say that the local support for the federal fix will continue. As you know, we still have HR 1365 that still has to be technically corrected, and as a result of that, we'll be able to access more money, which is there already in our trust fund. And I wanted to thank the Trump administration for working very closely with us, the White House Treasury, the Interior, and of course, Justice. I also want to especially recognize my Chief of Staff, Tony Babalta. And as we were looking at the history, the speaker and I were talking about, you know, it was her bill from the very beginning with this idea. But I remember in one of our discussions with Tony when we were trying to, you know, 75 years, we were celebrating 75 years of liberation, and we wanted to really give the Manamku their compensation on the 75th year of the liberation, and we're trying to figure out how to get money to them and still work with the federal government. And Tony came up with a great idea, and we ran with it, and his connections with the, and navigation with the White House Trump administration in the U.S. Treasury was just, I think, phenomenal. In fact, I thanked Paul, who was the head guy of the U.S. Treasury, for making this quickly happen. And he said to me, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't the persistence of my Chief of Staff, Tony Babauta. So Tony, thank you so much for all the hard work. And believe me, every day, my first thing to him is, Tony, where's the MOA? Where's the MOA? And so, and he would push them to, and even Doug Dominich said the same thing from Interior. So I'm just real excited about this, and that is all our efforts out there, the teamwork that we did, the leadership and teamwork from the senators, and also from our cabinet members. This is the result, and it's a great day for our Manamku. I get goosebumps when I think about it, and we're gonna pay it, believe me, by January 31st. And we are also still supporting HR 1365. We have always supported HR 1365 from the very beginning, and we will continue to support it, and we will use whatever connections we can to help Congressman Mike Nicholas move forward his piece of legislation so we can pass it and so we can all work together and end this great journey on a positive note. So we are also very thankful for the staff that got the Processing Claims Center ready. You go there and I am totally impressed with the work. In fact, the owner of Hakubotan was saying, are these government employees? And I said, absolutely, they are government employees. Wow, they're working really fast. Yes, that's our new administration. We work fast. And once again, I'd like to also thank my Lieutenant Governor, Josh, for his commitment and support for, you know, when we started campaigning, one of the things we talked about is how can we give the war reparations to our Manamku? And it's because of our love and respect of our Manamku that we have all gotten together to make it happen. So thank you again, Sidus Masi, and look forward to the check presentation to the Manamku. Sidus Masi. I'd like to ask the speaker to just say a few words also.
Hafidades and Mananas Sidus, many of God's blessings to all of you here. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably really speechless after the words from our Magahaga. I do want to take this time, without getting too emotional, is to thank our Magahaga and our Segundo Magalahi and the team, the Chief of Staff, Tony, and just the team of the administration who continue to have faith. Faith, I think, is what it is for my uncles. Faith to believe that the greatest generation that ever lived, that they would be given what was rightfully due to them. And we still, our journey doesn't stop here. I also want to take the time to thank my colleagues. We had bipartisan support, ladies and gentlemen. Our legislative secretary, Senator Amanda Shelton, our good party leader then, Senator Will Castro, and of course the efforts of those who went to, I know that there were other senators who went up to DC to see what they can do to help. We had the Republican support, we had the Democrat support, we just had everybody. And that's what it's all about. It's about Team Guam, teamwork, and together as one united Guam, we can do anything for our people. Not just our greatest generation, but all our people. And that's what it's going to take, ladies and gentlemen. Like the governor said, our journey is not over. 1365 still needs to be passed. I've asked publicly, I will continue to work closely and work closely with our congressmen to see how we can push Resolution 1365 through the Senate. I know there has been some positive moves. I know that there have been some updates, but we all need to continue to do that. I want to thank everybody who's wanted to make a difference. I see some of our signers who are here, some of our former policy leaders. I see Senator Uggan, who's also been part of making legislation go through in the past. I just see a lot of you who've been in administrations for more than 30 years of our government of Guam. I still see you folks, you ladies here, and you gentlemen here. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having the faith. More importantly, thank you for never giving up on our people of Guam, our greatest generation that ever lived. And at this time, Madam Governor and Lieutenant Governor, if I may at least give the opportunity to our legislative secretary and our minority leader to at least say a few words as authors of the legislation, because they too had the faith and not to stop. And former minority leader, I do apologize, Senator Tello is also here with us, and she is our present minority leader. Thank you for being here. And at this time, Madam Governor, if I may, Legislative Secretary.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I think everything that could be said has already been said. It's really a great day for Guam, and we're truly honored to be here to be a part of this. And I'd like to thank again all of the work of your administration, Governor, all of your staff who worked diligently to make this MOA happen and to set up this center for all of our Manamku to come to and to fill out their forms and get this going. And I especially want to take this time right now to recognize all of the Manamku who have gone before us, who are not able to see this day and to get this compensation and the recognition that they truly deserve. And our Manamku who are still with us today, who are the ones who pushed us to continue this fight and to finally finish it here. So, Situ Asmasi.
So we stayed the course, and I just want to say thank you, Governor. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Senator Shelton, for staying with me. To those who may not be aware, you know, many of us who affixed our name to the piece of legislation that was introduced were under tremendous scrutiny from all angles, from in our house, from within our party, from within our body. But none of us lost the faith. And my hat goes off to you, Mr. Secretary, for manifesting those things that we hope to be true one day. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Chief of Staff. Thank you so much, especially to the greatest generation. Bill 181 is not the first and it's certainly not the last step. We hope and pray, as the Governor said earlier, and I underscore that, ma'am, that 1365 passes. God bless Guam. God bless our land. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. And now we'll proceed to the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement. If we can have our Governor, our Lieutenant Governor, our Speaker have a seat, and our members of the 35th Guam Legislature stand behind to be a part of this momentous occasion.
Pursuant to Public Law 3561, I am hereby now transmitting the Memorandum of Agreement to your legislative body.
Sijus Masi Magahaga Undunkel and Sijus Masi Paresi. I will definitely transmit these documents on behalf of the 35th Guam Legislature so that the journey continues to move forward and we can give our Manamcos what they rightfully deserve. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't personally apologize to those who are not with us today, but we know that in spirit that they are watching over us to make sure that this chapter finally closes, and it will be closed real soon. God bless. Viva Guam!
I'd like to open the floor briefly for some questions from members of our media.
As we have been giving out the information through all the media outlets, and also we have a message that Josh and I taped. So tomorrow we are going to do a ribbon cutting of the opening of our processing claims center, and it's at the Hakubotan building in Tamuning. There it is ADA compliant. We will have refreshments for our Manamku. There's going to be lots of chairs to sit on. We're doing it by numbers, and we have about 8 stations that we will be servicing our Manamku. We asked them to bring their claims adjudication number and also the amount that has been recognized for them. So there's a letter that they should have. Most of the Manamcos are aware of this. We ask them to bring an ID. If it is a legal authority on behalf of them, we ask that legal authority to bring the documents to show proof. We're going to have notaries there. We are going to ask them to sign a consent allowing us to use their information, and also them assigning their claims over to Guam, because the claims are really against the U.S. Treasury. And so by signing those consent forms, they are now going to be legally transferring the claims over to us. We will accept those claims, and at the end of each working day, we batch them and give them over to U.S. Treasury. U.S. Treasury will then verify those claimants. Once they verify the claimants, they'll let us know, and then we issue the check. So we're trying to make the process as simple as possible. I know that there are a lot of questions, and please, if you have questions, call our phone number. Do you know what the phone number is? Sorry. It's 47, sorry, it's right here. 482-0792. Okay, I'm going to memorize that one. And then also, you can go on our website, warclaims.guam.gov, or call our offices here. We have people that can answer your questions. I know there's a lot of questions for them in UMCO, but please bring your questions. We will have people that can answer those questions.
Governor, how much do you anticipate paying out locally and how many claimants? And if that runs out before HR 1365 is passed, what is your option?
So we expect to pay out about 14 million. You know, the claims are going to be different amounts. Some will have 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, even 25,000 if you have died as a result during the war. But we are averaging it out to be about 10,000. So we have 14 million set aside for that, and we'll continue to process them as they come along, and we will continue to find the funding to pay for it till 1365 passes. According to Congressman Mike Nicholas in his State of the Island address, he had said that he predicts that it will pass by the end of this month, and that it will go through the process and probably have signature of the president by maybe the middle of February. That's my thinking. But he did say that he will have it passed by January, the end of this month. So, you know, he knows what's going on over there. So when he says the end of this month, that's great if we can have that passed, and then they can start releasing another 23 million.
Any other questions?
Yes, and that's why we are sending the documents back to them, because they're reconciling it. And as they reconcile and as the money gets released, they will be replacing those funds. It goes, according to the law with 181, it's deposited into the account that's established, and we will continue to pay out. As they replace the money, we'll continue to pay it out till we end our liability, which is, I think, roughly estimated to be about 44 million.